A year ago, I could tell you the difference between a niacinamide serum and a hyaluronic acid. I could rattle off ingredient lists. I knew which influencer swore by which moisturizer and which subscription box was supposed to drop on the first of the month and when choice day was. What I could not tell you is when exactly watching one makeup tutorial turned into a drawer I could no longer close. This is a story of how a free app on my phone quietly rewired what I wanted, what I bought, and eventually who I thought I was. And it is the story of how I clawed my way back out by using the same platform that pulled me in. I'm Myrna, and welcome back to Reinventing Myrna. Let me take you back before any of this started. My YouTube watch history was honestly kind of wholesome. I watched documentaries, I watched comedy clips, I watched explainers about history, science, weird little corners of the internet that taught me things I didn't know I wanted to know. YouTube for me was basically a public library where the librarian had a great sense of humor, and then about a year ago, something shifted. I don't remember the exact video. That's part of what I want to talk about today because I think that is the point. You don't remember the first one. What I do remember is clicking on a makeup tutorial. Maybe it was a get ready with me, harmless, fun, the kind of video where someone shows you to do a winged eyeliner that doesn't look like you got into a fight with a Sharpie. I watched it, I liked it, I clicked on another one. And here's where the story stops being mine and starts being everyone's. YouTube's recommendation algorithm drives roughly 70% of what people watch on the platform. 70%. That's not a side feature, that's the platform. And the system is optimized. Its own engineers have said that. For one thing above all, it's to keep you watching. A former YouTube engineer named Chazlot, who actually helped build the algorithm back in 2010, has put it bluntly. He said the goal of the algorithm is not relevance. It's not what is best for you, it's what's going to keep you watching. The longer you stay, the more ads you see, the more money the platform makes. So when I clicked on makeup tutorial, the algorithm did not think, oh, Bruno might like to watch a documentary about ancient Rome. It thought, I have a lead. Pull her in harder. From makeup tutorials, my homepage shifted to product reviews. From product reviews, it shifted to skincare routines. From skincare routines, it shifted to subscription box unboxings. And friends, that last one is where things got expensive. If you have never watched a subscription box unboxing video, let me describe it. A creator sits down with a beautifully packaged box, usually pastel, usually with tissue paper, usually with a little card from the brand. They peel back the tissue, they pull each item out one by one with its very specific theatrical pause. Before each reveal, they hold it up to the camera, they tell you the retail price, they tell you what they think, and the algorithm, my friends, the algorithm loves it. Why? Because unboxing videos are a perfect engagement machine. They have suspense, they have variable rewards, they look pretty on a thumbnail, and they make you, the viewer, feel like you're part of something. Here's the science, and I want to say this carefully because it's genuinely interesting. Researchers who study consumer behavior have a name for what unboxing videos are doing to our brains. They call it variable ratio reinforcement. It is the same psychological mechanism that makes slot machines so effective. Can you believe that? The brain releases dopamine, the seeking, wanting, anticipation chemical, not when we get a reward, but when we are about to. The unpredictability is the drug. You do not know exactly what's in the box. You hope it's good. Your brain lights up, waiting to find out. And here's the part that genuinely stunned me when I learned it. Your brain cannot fully tell the difference between watching someone else open the box and opening it yourself. Clinical psychologists have pointed out that vicarious unboxing triggers the same reward pathways. So you're getting a tiny dopamine hit just from watching, which means you keep watching, which means the algorithm keeps showing you more, which means eventually you start thinking, well, what if I just got my own box? So I subscribed. I started with one, Ipsy, If you buy the bag, that runs you about $15 a month. And you get these makeup samples in a cute little bag. Reasonable, I told myself. It's just $15. But then there's the middle tier, which is about $25, $26, I believe. That one, you get even more products, bigger products at $26. Who can beat that? 5 products for $25, $26. And then there's that third tier now. It's 65 to 75, I can't remember. And that one's quarterly. Then came Allure Beauty Box, about $25 a month. And the marketing pitch is genuinely seductive. You get at least one full-size product, often valued at more than the price of the box. So you're saving money technically, right? Girl math. Then FabFitFun, which is quarterly, around $55, no, maybe it's more, $65 a season. And it arrives in a huge box, and it's so big that it feels like Christmas. There's 6 to 8 products that are full-sized. There's beauty, there's wellness, there's home, there's fashion. A whole shopping spree delivered right to your front door. And there's more. Dermstore's Beauty Fix, around $25 a month. And that one has prestigious skincare, professional grade serums, the kind of brands you would normally pause before buying. They're expensive. And it adds up. I was spending conservatively somewhere around $100 a month, possibly more, on products I didn't even need. That totals up to $1,200 a year. To get excited about a cardboard box with stuff I don't need, there's something else that was happening, and I didn't see it at the time. The influencers I was watching every day, I started to feel like I knew them. I knew their pets, I knew their husbands' names, I knew which one had a tricky relationship with her mom and which one was trying to get pregnant. I had favorites, I had ones I rolled my eyes at. I had this whole social ecosystem in my head. And not one of these women know that I even exist. Okay, so this is interesting. Communications researchers have a name for this. They call it parasocial relationship. The term goes back way back to 1956. 2 scholars named Donald Horton and Richard Wohl coined it to describe how television viewers felt about TV personalities. They argued that TV was creating a one-sided emotional bond where the viewer felt like they had a real friendship with someone who was technically performing for an audience. That was back then. Now picture what that does in 2026. A YouTube creator is not a distant news anchor reading off a teleprompter. She's sitting on her bed in her pajamas, telling you about her day. She's making eye contact with the camera. She's laughing at her own jokes. She's recommending a cleanser like she's your big sister recommending a cleanser. And the research on this is striking. Multiple studies have found that when consumers form parasocial bonds with beauty influencers, their purchase intentions go up because trust goes up. Skepticism goes down. We are biologically wired to take advice more seriously from people we feel close to. Influencer marketing exploits that wiring, sometimes accidentally and sometimes very on purpose. And it's worth saying, this is not a small industry. The global cosmetics market in 2025 is estimated somewhere between $300 and $450 billion, depending on which research firm you read. Skincare alone is around $120 billion globally. Influencer marketing as a category was worth more than $21 billion worldwide in 2023. And a significant chunk of that flows into the beauty space. So when an influencer recommends a serum, there's often a contract behind that recommendation. Sometimes it's disclosed, and sometimes it's buried in a description box. Sometimes it is free PR packages that they were sent, and they liked it. Sometimes they genuinely love it. The truth, honestly, though, is messy, and I want to be fair here. Many beauty creators are real people who genuinely love these products. The problem is not a single creator. The problem is the entire system. So let me tell you about that drawer. It started as a cute little organizer in my bathroom. Then it became 2 drawers, and it had a basket because it no longer fit in the drawer. Then I had a second basket. Then I caught myself one morning hunting for a specific lip balm I knew I owned, but I couldn't find it, and realizing I was essentially archaeologically excavating my own collection of products I bought once used and then had forgotten. That was the morning I stopped and asked myself a question I had been avoiding for months. Am I happy? Because the truth was the unboxing high was getting shorter. The first month, I was thrilled. By month 6, I was just ripping the boxes open at the door, glancing at the contents, and tossing them on the pile. The dopamine was still firing, but the feeling that came after was no longer joy. It was something closer to a low hum of guilt. There's a clinical term for what I was experiencing, and I want to be careful with it because it's a real diagnosis that people struggle with. It's called compulsive buying disorder, sometimes referred to as oniomania. It is currently classified as a behavioral addiction by researchers, though it is not officially in the diagnostic manual that mental health professionals use. The cycle, as researchers describe it, has 4 parts. Anticipation. You start thinking about the purchase. Boy, was I thinking about it. Preparation. You research, you scroll, you put items in your cart. Shopping, you buy. And then, the part nobody talks about in unboxing videos, disappointment, guilt, regret. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not going to sit here and diagnose myself with a clinical disorder on YouTube. That would be irresponsible and frankly inaccurate. I do not believe what I had crossed into a true clinical addiction, but I do believe, and the research backs this up, that there is a spectrum, and I had drifted further down that spectrum than I wanted to admit. According to one set of survey data, nearly half of compulsive shoppers report feeling regret or remorse after high spending episodes. About 65% report co-occurring mental health concerns like anxiety or depression. I was not in crisis, but I was not okay either. And the gap between those two things, they matter. On the spirit of being fair, let me say what I would say if I were sitting across from someone who genuinely loves their subscription boxes and their beauty routines, as do I still. Beauty products are not the enemy. Skincare can be self-care. Makeup can be art. Discovering a new brand can be genuinely fun. There's real research suggesting that small acts of self-care include grooming rituals, can support mental well-being, and the beauty industry has in recent years made meaningful strides in inclusion, more shades, more skin types, more representation. There are also creators who are pushing back from inside the industry. Around 2023, a counter trend called de-influencing started picking up steam on TikTok, and the hashtag has racked up tens of millions of views. De-influencers tell you what not to buy. The anti-haul subgenre on YouTube does the same thing. Researchers studying the trend frame it as kind of a grassroots resistance to overconsumption. So even inside the beauty creator world, there are voices saying, hey, slow down. So if you love your beauty routine, this is not a video telling you to throw away your products. Oh, heck no, I'm not getting rid of my stuff. The question is not whether beauty products are bad. The question is, who is making the decision about what ends up in your cart? You or the algorithm? So this is where I am now, and this is where the channel comes in. A few months ago, I made a decision I wanted to learn something new. I wanted a hobby that built something instead of consuming something. And after a lot of thinking, I landed on content creation. My long-term dream is actually to make videos about short stories, autobiography, biography, narrative storytelling, the kinds of stories that stay with you. That'll be a separate channel. But here's the thing about YouTube. I had to learn really, really fast. Making a good video is not about having something to say. It's also about lighting. It's about audio. It's about editing. It's about pacing. It's about thumbnails. It's about titles. It's about thumbnails and titles because those two seem to be everything. So I made a deal with myself. Before I start making that channel, and I really want to get good at this craft, I need to teach myself what it is that content creation really is. And that's where Reinventing Myrna has come in. It's not just about YouTube and learning the craft, but it's about other aspects in my mid-50s as a woman and what kinds of hurdles I'm coming across, because it feels like I'm going across more hurdles now than my teenage years when those hormones were going nuts. So in doing this, in getting better at content creation and thinking about hobbies and free time and how I want to spend my moments, my free moments outside of work, here's the funny part. The algorithm that pulls me into makeup tutorials and unboxing videos and parasocial friendships with beauty gurus and strangers, that same algorithm is now feeding me lighting tutorials, editing tutorials, tips on how to record clean audio, different YouTube formats, how to grow as a content creator, deep dives on AI tools like Claude and Whisperflow, all the new platforms that are changing what one person can build alone in a room. That same algorithm, that same dopamine hits when I found a great tutorial, that same parasocial bonding that's forming with the creators teaching me, same recommendation engine, doing exactly what it always does, pulling me deeper into whatever I'm clicking on. The difference is the direction it's pulling. Beauty content was teaching me to consume. Education content is teaching me to create. The mechanism is identical. The output is polar opposite. And honestly, that's the lesson I want to leave you with. The algorithm is not good. The algorithm is not bad. The algorithm is a mirror. A slightly fun house mirror, but a mirror. It reflects whatever you feed back at you more intensely. Which means the question every time you click is not, is this content good? The question is this the version of myself I want the algorithms to start building? Because it will build, whether you mean to or not. If any part of this resonated with you, if you have your own drawer, your own subscription that you keep meaning to cancel, your own homepage that has slowly drifted somewhere you did not choose, I want to hear about it. Tell me in the comments, what is your algorithm feeding you right now? And is it the version of yourself you want to build? And if this channel is useful to you, if you want to see what happens as I keep learning, keep failing, keep figuring this out, please subscribe. That is the actual most helpful thing you can do for a small channel like this one. The algorithm has a soft spot for creators with engaged audiences, and you're mine. I'm Myrna, and this is Reinventing Myrna. And I will see you in the next one.